Okay. Hi, everyone. How is everyone doing? So I hope to try and make my session a little more engaging. I find that a lot of these sessions, because there's people from all over the world, there's people from the US, from Asia, from Europe. So for some people, it might be 5 in the morning. For some people, it might be evening. Some people, it might be night. So I just want to make sure this session is valuable. I try not to do like really long PowerPoints and just try to make sure that we can cover and talk about a range of topics. So if some of you can put your videos on, I have two. I have myself to focus on this presentation. I also have my laptop here so I can see all of you. It allows me to connect with you. It allows me to feel closer to the sort of topics that we're talking about. So where possible, please put your mics. I want to see some beautiful smiles, no matter what time of the day or the night it is. And it also just means that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, which I tend to do sometimes when I'm building companies. So yeah, let's try and make this fun. It doesn't have to be some boring L&D conference. It can actually be pretty exciting to talk about the future of learning. And yeah, try to ask me questions in the middle of it. I know I'm allotted like 60 minutes or 45 minutes for a presentation. I actually just want to do 15 minutes of presentation. So I want to spend more time doing Q&A. I want to spend way more time engaging with people. I will bring back topics that we're discussing for my PowerPoint, but I'll do like a little overview of where I see the future of learning, where I see the future of work. And then, yeah, we can kind of just make it a two-way conversation. So for those of you that have your videos on, and if you like that sort of style, just give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Okay. Give me a thumbs down if you do not want to hear 75 minutes of some guy droning about education. Thumbs down. Okay. Cool. Great. So I'm going to share my screen. And yeah, I can see all of your comments. So just want to make sure everyone can see this. Okay, great. So a little background. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and after I grew up here, I went to the US. I started my career in finance, as was already sort of brought up by the host. And thank you again for having me here. And I went to Africa after my career in Wall Street because I really, really felt that I wanted to do something with adventure and an entrepreneurial spirit. So when I was in Africa, it was very beautiful, actually, because I had the chance to go build a school from absolutely nothing. And that for me was like this pivotal. Education is a spiritual calling, For some people, it's like purpose. For some people, it's calling. For me, I knew in my heart, in my soul, there was something very special about building one single school in Africa, which over the last 5 years, I've been building a couple of ventures in education. So the first one is called Accelerate, and it's quite well known across Asia. We've trained like 40,000 people. It's been around for 5.5 years, so it's been there for a while. But as much as I was going to go bring up a presentation about Accelerate and how we're fighting the skills gap, it seems that a lot of people also want to know about what some of our future plans are and how we see the future of work, future of learning. And I actually think it's a really interesting time to bring up something that no one's really ever talked about. It's called LearnFi, or Learn to Earn. So crypto has been all over the news, right? And so I want to focus less on like the investing side and more about what it means to create learning and a future of work that actually appeals to us. So basically, with every single individual out here in our world, there is a lot of this exact problem. Whether you're trying to learn data science to upskill yourself, or you're trying to finish a Coursera course on, artificial intelligence, you want to learn more about cybersecurity, you want to have skills and soft skills, you want to learn about how to be an effective CEO or a manager, right? The problem always comes down to one thing, which is expressed quite vividly in this slide. You have people all over the world that have interests that want to obviously impact their personal lives, their financial lives, have a great career, improve themselves, but also struggle and are frustrated with doubt, right? They're struggling with this hectic, it never feels like enough lifestyle, right? No matter what you're learning, no matter how you're learning, no matter where your career is, everything feels very surface level because you're always overwhelmed, and social media probably doesn't help with this. And what that means is actually a lot of our learning and development, it's very scattershot. It's very all over the place. Oh, I'll read like 3 tweets here, and I'll read 5 minutes here, and I'll watch a Telegram, or I'll watch 10 minutes of a Coursera. So for those of you that resonate with that, give me like maybe this thing. Yeah, my learning is a little bit scattershot. Yeah. Like, how many of you actually take learning and development very, very seriously? And how many of you feel like it is very scattershot? It's very reactive, right? So what I'm trying to do, again, Metaversity is like the University of Metaverse, but I'm using this as a way to think about learning and development for everyone, right? Because I really think that learning and development doesn't have to be seen like some sort of boring, check in the box bullshit exercise. I really believe that actually, when done intentionally, not like this reactive thing, but with proactive sort of measures, it can actually really be very fulfilling, right? To learn and to grow and to test your limits. And so much like in the crypto industry, I think that there's a lot of areas for future of work for people to have all sorts of learning, right? People need to have learning and development that's accessible. People and Web3 and the future of work needs a lot more talent. There's this misconception that the jobs of the future are running out. Actually, the jobs of the future are being created faster and faster, but there's not enough people to fill them, right? So this is actually a marvelous time. People think this is pretty depressing time to live. It's actually a marvelous time to live, right? Because there's so many exciting jobs out there, so many unbuilt careers, so many unbuilt sort of adventures that do come with challenges, right? So learning and LearnFi and sort of the future of learning, to me, comes with 2 or 3 different things. And again, this happens with everything. It's not just in a metaversity context. I want to use this as just one way to look at the future, right? Every day you learn, you can learn something fun, right? We're trying to create a situation, and this not just through Accelerate or Metaversity, but I think a lot of education companies, online companies, offline companies, are trying to create a situation where learning is as compatible with your life as your entertainment schedule, right? How do we make learning and development so fun, so sexy, that it's on par with Netflix in the evening after a long day, or it's on par with a yacht party on a Saturday, right? How do you make it so crucial so that you're always wanting to learn, right? That voracious learning culture, it sounds great, but it's really hard to do. And I actually think it comes from the word learning, right? We're treating it like education. It's so uninviting, uninspiring. But if we treat it like a game, right? That together we solve problems, together we build our avatar, together we go on quest, together we go on an adventure together, then it has elements of a video gaming your life, right? And then as you kind of keep learning and building your blocks of knowledge in different areas, and you verify them, and again, subgraph is just one way of looking at it, but you're verifying to yourself or to your employer that you actually have learned it, that there are rewards that come out of it. So let's kind of look at what happens in today's world, right? And why I think we need to rethink the education system. So the education system kind of came from a necessity. If you look at Germany back in the 1860s, basically like 200 years ago, there was a need from the government to basically upscale the entire workforce to fit a factory model education system, right? They wanted to increase literacy. They needed a way to churn out factory model workers. And that model has literally not changed in 150 or 200 years. Basically, everything else, from mobile phones to cell phones to laptops to space to food to farming to pretty much everything out there has changed tremendously. But learning, education has not changed at all. So what actually happens is that we try to, when it comes to learning about anything, we try to battle a natural born impulse to quit, to give up, right? It's very easy to get started, right? Getting a thumbs up. How many of you have started something and you never really finished it, whether it's a Coursera? So what ends up happening is that as you keep learning these things, you start off thinking, and this is the same with coding, right? We've trained 30,000 engineers. Once you start learning things, it sounds great to begin with. It's very easy to get started. You feel momentum. You built your first website, right? In data science or in cyber, you built your first pen testing. But what ends up happening is that there will be moments where you feel like giving up. and it gets harder and harder, and it's really hard to build that momentum. It's like a trough of hell almost. And a lot of startups go through this as well. But what we want to try and do is create a situation where we are creating a lot of different incentives. Intrinsic rewards, yes, I've learned this, but also extrinsic rewards, where me learning this thing matters, can actually come to the foray. I find that a lot of ed tech companies and a lot of educational systems, they want to kind of treat themselves at one end of the spectrum or the other. It's either all about the external rewards, like on LinkedIn, you have praise and you have, achievements and career and progress and promotions, or it's all about the intrinsic, more like Buddha version. Oh, I'm learning for the sake of enlightenment. But I think true progressive future of work and future of learning kind of intertwines both pieces. So one of the things that I'm really trying to push for in the future of learning, when you think about it like a video game, is that you're learning at your own pace, at your own time. I do like that model about Coursera's and all. I think that watching videos, having the ability to learn on the phone, learn on the train is really good. But I think, again, this binary perspective is quite wrong, right? You want to have the ability to connect with the live mentor. You want to be able to have the ability to pick up Discord or Twitter and be able to connect with someone in real time, so that you spend a lot less time on your feedback loops. Too often when you're spending time on your learning and development, there is so many different areas where it's very reactive and you're not very proactive on where you may get stuck, right? On where just at that critical point of learning something, whether it's in blockchain, whether it's in crypto, whether it's in data science, whether it's in design or product management, right? This learning curve happens everywhere. And it's only up to you to find exactly where you might most likely quit and where you want to kind of connect yourself and commit yourself to a intrinsic and an external reward. I think at the end of the day, whether it's learn to earn and you're earning crypto, or you're actually able to apply your learning in other ways, the point of learning and development really is to apply what you learn to your new career, to your new business. And so connecting that purpose, I think, is really, really important when you think about learning and growing as a person. So one of the things that I'm trying to do with Metaversity, which I think might be the future, is that pretty much everyone out there spends billions. I think on Facebook ads, on Instagram ads, on Twitter ads. There's just so much advertising dollars out there trying to get you to buy stuff all the time. And what ends up happening is that we're spending so much time thinking about buying things and being forced to consume that no one's spending any of their budgets on learning and development. If you go to every major corporation, your learning and development budgets are probably 0.1% of the marketing budget, which it has always been that way. One of the things that I think might happen in the future is that we could start to see people taking their marketing budgets and turn them into learning and development budgets, right? How about we go to all these companies in crypto and outside of crypto, and we tell them, use your marketing budgets to educate your users and give out rewards, right? What if instead of a company spending 100 or 200 US dollars to get you through a series of Instagram ads, they gave you 100 US dollars, right? And that 100 US dollars was given to you to go learn about something, right? Let's say it was a crypto.com, and rather than spending billions of dollars in ads on the Super Bowl, they're spending a lot of money on people for you to go learn about stuff. So the more you learn and the more you earn, then you kind of build yourself and your credentials in a Web3 world. For creators, this is also quite useful because the more you're able to help other people learn, you get rewarded not because of ad revenue that your people have watched on YouTube, but you get rewarded based on user-generated content and engagement. And then for all these companies and protocols out there, you're able to get rewarded based on helping your top people go through these quests and to go learn stuff. So my approach to building the University of the Metaverse, or the future of learning in a digital world, is to, one, do quests, right? Give people every day a chance to go make 20, 30, 50, 100 US dollars just by doing simple things for their learning journey, right? This is funded by marketing budgets. And I think that the more you're able to get really, really good marketing budgets that support learners that are actually going through courses, the more you will also attract really good content creators, right? Some of the best content creators in the world are not necessarily the best professors, right? Some of the best, most knowledgeable people actually have no interest in teaching. You see this as an inherent misalignment of capital, of human capital in the university system. So I think longer term, one of the things that I really believe is necessary is that as a collective, we reinvent the word resume. Resume is something that's really, really static, right? What if we had a system where all the skills that we had were represented by on-chain credentials? They were represented by everything we learned on a blockchain. I think when you're doing that, then you go to an employer and you're able to show that, yes, you have absolutely gone ahead and learned all these different skills. The more that employer is able to see not your resume, that you've gone and learned these skills and believe that you passed the course, but actually see that you've earned the right badges, the more they are going to give you these opportunities, right? In the future of work, it's not going to be that you have one job or two jobs. You might have several different jobs. You might have several gigs. And so I think it's really important for people to have the skills that continue to match with that future of work. I just want to wrap up with one last slide and then hopefully open it up to Q&A. And that is the big picture. By 2030, so in about 8 years from now, there will be a global human talent shortage. People always think that jobs are being expired and that there's no jobs left because of automation. But actually, there will be more than 85 million jobs that do not have people filling them in. That creates about $8 trillion of unrealized annual revenue. And in tech alone, just in the US, not even in Asia, not even in Singapore or in Indonesia, there is possibly billions of dollars that is lost due to not having the right human capital. So it's a really, really great opportunity to think about your learning, not in a proactive, not in a reactive way, but in a proactive way, to think about your learning in a video game-like format. Metaversity is just one way to think about it. But if I could kind of impart one final core message, that is that the future of learning and the future of work really is up to you, right? You get to unlock your career. You get to kind of think about your skills less as a static resume. Hello?
Yes, hi, Lavine. We lost you.
Not sure what happened there.
We lost your other account. Yes, you're back now.
Yeah, what I was saying is that at the end of the day, it's up to us to decide how we want to create our future of work. I want to open up the Q&A.